Hi YouTube, it's Diane. It's kind of dark over here. Anyway, I'm upstairs. Other people are showing their Christmas tree, so I thought I'd show mine. We have this here for little hands, and we actually have a coffee table, and we put our tree on top of the coffee table because you can hide presents underneath. I'm gonna move you so you can take a quick peek. So just hold on here. There is the tree. And there's stockings hung by the window with care. We also have a little 4-foot tree over there, but I'm not gonna walk around and get y'all dizzy. They're all downstairs watching TV, so hopefully this will work. They won't bug me. Knock on wood. Start with life updates. Yes, they filled out their tags, so we have meat in the freezer, and so they filled all the tags the first hunting weekend, so they didn't have to go up on the second hunting weekend. So that's nice. First year, my 11-year-old was able to go, and he could legally shoot with an adult and some other guidelines, and he actually hit something. He was happy. I don't have a lot, in my marine, because Becky wants to know about my marine. We might have boots in the house for Christmas. Maybe. You never know until they put the orders in your hands. And I forgot my whip. Really? I only have one whip. I'll be right back. Okay, I only have one whip this month, and there's a reason. I'll explain it here in a minute. But let me show my whip. It is Glendon Place. Frostys Carrot caper. Frosty caught picking his nose. Mama boys, people. And I showed it last month, and I have been filling in. Didn't bring a thing today. Let me get my needle out of the way. It's a weird place for my needle. I'm stitching this in hand, that's why I don't have it. Needle minder and all that. But I've been filling in the veggie stand. And this is Frosty's hat. So I'm starting on Frosty. It's going pretty quickly. A lot of color changes in this one, but it's a fun stitch. It's 28 count cashel, Blue Whisper. I picked that up at Stitchville. People always ask me what the fabric is. The reason I don't have other whips, well, first of all, I'm stitching a gift and I can't show it because the person hasn't received it. So there's another reason. But last time I showed finishing stuff for Anemone, and so I did finish Anemone, and I'll show her here in a minute. And I was bit by the FFO bug. I made a list of my FIPs, my things that are stitched and embellished, but they're not ready to display. 42. Yeah, that's a wee bit much. I hope that's the right way. I can't tell if you guys see it backwards or not. Anyway. So I was bit by the FFO bug, and so that's what I've been doing. So it's either stitching or fully finishing objects. I can't do both. My schedule doesn't allow it right now. So before I show these, I do want to throw some huge thank yous out. One to Vanna. Vanna has a business finishing things. She doesn't have to tell us how she does stuff or gives us tips on having our projects look good or anything like that, but she chooses to. I'm very, very grateful that she does. And you will see particularly her cording video in these. To be honest, I kind of burned myself out on FFOs, so I didn't finish all of them I have materials for, but I have enough to show. But yeah, she shares it, and it's a gift. Because I started working on these and I finished like 3 of them and my hands were so sore from making sure everything's tight and lined up and just where it needs to be. And then if you use paint or glues, you're always washing your hands, washing your hands, washing your hands. So then you get the dry skin. Yeah. Mom's doing something. We have to go see. No, we don't. Anyway. It's been a long day. Minnie broke a tooth a few months ago, and so I had to take him to a special dentist and everything today. Figuring out what we need to do if we need to do anything. So that was the joy of my day. He was not happy. They didn't do anything, they just evaluated him. So anyway, FFOs. Vana, she doesn't have to share, but she's made lovely tutorials and she shares tips and techniques and ideas with us, and I really appreciate it. Priscilla and Chelsea. To my knowledge, the only tutorial they've shared on YouTube is the coffee tea dyeing tutorial. And I know Priscilla has a blog, as does Vana. I forget about blogs. I should read them, but I forget about them. But they share in their videos, hey, I finished this, and I fully finished this, and I fully finished this way. That just keeps the idea of fully finishing to the forefront, gives me some ideas, and I really appreciate that. Tara C. Tara C hasn't made a video in a while, and that's fine, life happens, but she's kept her tutorial videos up for us to watch and rewatch as we need to, and I really appreciate that. Marlene Stitching by the Lake, showing her full finishes, her cushions and her bags and the hanging on the door basket floral thing. I can't do that here because, well, we don't have a storm door, but also the weather changes so much. But I could probably do it in my house. But again, other ideas, keep them coming, please. Kindred Stitcher, Lisa is her name. She has shared some of her recent finishes too. Of course, Stitcherista Danielle and her tutorials, very, very helpful. And just again, thinking outside the frame. You don't always have to frame everything. If it's a different type of finish, you can do it. And then, I'm trying to remember if I remembered everybody. Of course, my list is on the phone. The biggest thank you is to Janet, Trixie Stitches. She and I have actually met. Wonderful lady. She's funny, but she wears her heart on her sleeve. Really, really sweet woman. She did a wonderful tutorial on pinning and lacing your pieces. I've known about lacing for years, but it's always intimidated me for whatever reason. And she did that video, I rewatched it, and it just made so much sense. And I found that I really like the lacing. I don't like the pinning as much as the lacing part, which really surprised me. And I find the lacing to be very kind of meditative, relaxing. So I've been using that a lot. So thanks, Janet, for your tutorial. I think your husband recorded it, so you can thank him too. But without further ado, here is Anemone. Sorry, the lighting sucks. It's a little after 7, and of course the sun is down. That's the time of year we're in. This used to be a clock. I got it at Hobby Lobby. You can see the recording. And there's the other tree. I don't remember the dimensions of it, I'm sorry. Anemone is stitched on 28 count Monaco Caramel Brulee by Fiberlicious. But this used to have a clock in it, so it has, I don't know if you could tell or not. Oh, you have to look really close. There are little tabs in there because the clock was mounted to like a masonite piece. So they had little tabs in there so the clock wouldn't touch the glass. so the hands would move. So I already had the tabs in there, so I didn't have to worry about spacers. And the glass is like gooped in, so I don't think I could remove it. And then I thought I would spray paint this black, but I'm glad I didn't, because it really pulls out the skin tones really nicely, especially when it's on my wall. It's not one of these walls, it's the wall downstairs. It's a olive green color on the back. It's called Olive Grove by Sherwin-Williams. So it looks really nice on there. But you know, if I want to paint it, spray paint it black later, I always could. I wasn't sure how to fully finish the back. So what I did is I have a piece of foam core that she's laced on. And then I just cut another piece of foam core, so you have the foam core she's laced on backed with another piece. And it works. And it had the hanger. This was already part of the clock. So this isn't what you hang it from. It's just purely decorative. So you hang it here and then you lean this against the wall. So it's got that. It had screws, but I chose not to put the screws back in. And these tabs bend out and bend back really easily. So there's Anemone. So she was my FFO number 1. Let's see, I showed this one last month. And it's finished. It is finished on the wall, but I would like to find something I could put here and here. I thought I would put flowers there, but when I tried to put them on there, it looked too gaudy. So I just kept it simple for now. I could always add more embellishments later. I did paint this green. This chalkboard I got at Hobby Lobby, so I painted this green. And this is the Seasons in Chalk, Just Cross Stitch magazine. It looks like it came off, but it's not. It's glued on there. Spring, April 2016 magazine. And the fabric is 18 count. It is called Holiday. Fabrics by LJ. And I used all the charted colors. So I think it turned out really cute. But yeah, I could spruce it up. I just haven't found, I'm one that I have to think about it for a while. So I haven't found, I want like a swirl there or something on either side. But again, keeping the finishes clean and just simple works. So that's finish number 2. My daughter she used to have a lot of bloody noses, so we had to go to an ENT, and while we were in St. Cloud, Minnesota, we went, there's a store there called Savers. It's a secondhand store, and I had never, they're really clean in that store. It doesn't have that walk-in smell. Yeah. And so I'd never gone through the household, so this time I went in the household and I found this frame. This piece is by Just Nan. It is called Ariel. It's one of her angels. I think there's 16 in the series, and I think I own all 16. I've stitched all the ones I have. Some of them I've stitched more than once. But I got this frame for like $3. It's a metal frame. It's not real silver. I'm not sure what it is. I did wash it all down, let it completely dry, and then put it in here, and it was like it was made for this piece. You know, the rays coming out, and then also it pulls the color out of her wings and her halo. So there is that one. And yes, 1/1 skin, people. I do 1/1 skin on these angels. So that one, it only cost me like $3. This one of my son's bird samplers was all framed, and then one of his brothers took Sidewalk Chalk, orange Sidewalk Chalk. So I had to take it all apart. I had a small panic attack when I did. I had taken it to a box store to have framed. I bought the frame and the piece, and they just had to assemble it. Do you use all acid-free? Oh yeah, we use all acid-free. And I asked various other questions. But when I took this apart, they did not use acid-free. No, there's no way what they used was acid-free. And I had to soak and soak and soak and soak this piece. The chalk came out first or second soaking. really easily. No ghosting, nothing. But the adhesive that they used, first of all, it changed the color of the fabric where they used it, which is a big indicator that it was not acid free. And it wasn't like double-sided thin tape, it was like carpet tape. Oh man, I was so mad. I mean, I was almost physically ill. I was so upset, and I told my son, I said, I will restitch this for you if I have to. But I gotta get this adhesive off, and I soaked and soaked and soaked, and I got to the point I thought, if I soak this one more time, it's gonna fall apart. Thankfully, linen is a little more durable, and this is all DMC. Well, except for the name, I used a metallic on the name. Sorry, there's a little fuzzball right there. But it did come, well, there's like one spot of the adhesive way in the far corner. But oh man, so mad. You know, as my mom said, I was mad enough to spit nails. I was so mad. So, this was a FIP because I had to stretch it, reassemble it, and I did it the right way because I used to work in a frame shop. I know the right way to do it. I just had a little baby and I didn't have time, but I had this frame and I had the thing, and oh man, I was so upset. Never more. I might have them cut a frame for me or cut glass, but they're not assembling it. No. So I'm going to cover his name. But here it is. It's not going to work. You guys aren't going to see the piece. I want to just see the piece, but not his name. As somebody else mentioned, you know, I want him to determine when he, as the world, know his name. Crescent Dreams, Nora Corbett. Guess that's a little crystal jewel there. This is not intended as a burr sampler, but I made it one. And it looks like a little door with a handle and the hinges. And yes, there's like a ribbon, and you put some charms on there. So again, it was Crescent Dreams, and I just made it a burr sampler. So now it's hanging on his wall. And yeah, I would have restitched it if I needed to. Yeah. Let's just say I haven't been in that store very much. It's not my favorite store anymore. But that is FFO number, we on 4? 5, this one. I cannot remember the name of this one. I know Janet Trixie Stitches, I passed the pattern on to her. It's by Elizabeth Designs, but I can't remember the exact name. It says, think deeply, speak gently, love much, laugh a lot, work hard, give freely, have faith, and be kind. And this is mushroom. No, I don't remember what it is. Sorry. It's mushroom or it could be khaki. I think it's mushroom. You have all the treasures there. And the green, and there's the cording following Vanna's video, and the canvas following Stitcherista's video. So now it's up on the wall. It's up there when it's hanging. So there's number 5. This one. Picked this one up in Cincinnati at Keepsakes. Little House Needleworks. I am thankful for my daily bread and for my cross-stitch thread. And then did cording again and canvas. And Stitcherista, Danielle is right when she talks about the quality of canvas. This was a higher quality canvas. I still got it at Hobby Lobby, but it was higher quality than that one. It didn't take as many coats of paint, and I did go over it with Mod Podge prior to gluing this on. Oh, and I did want to mention, I haven't heard anybody mention this. When you're doing this kind of flat finish, whether it's on a chalkboard thing or a canvas like this, I learned this years ago. You use Aleene's tacky glue because it's acid free, but you go over it with tacky glue, and then you can use your hot glue gun to go like around the edge, because the hot glue gives you the instant hold, and the Aleene's will give you, you want to let it still let it sit and dry. But with the combination of the Aleene's and the hot glue, you get the quality of the Aleene's glue and you get the instant of the hot glue. I learned that Aleene's used to have a craft show years ago on cable. I don't know if they do or not. And they would talk about that, and that was a tip they gave. So I did that with these, where I would put the tacky on, and then I would put some hot glue on, so I'd have the instant so I could, it was secure, but then I pressed it with something to get it nice and flat and let it dry, and then I glued this on with the hot glue. So just a tip. I haven't heard anybody share that, but the combination of the two really helps. So that's number 6, maybe? I know what the final number is. I'll just tell you the final number when we get there. Then this one, Abbey Lane Designs, Sonata. I showed this last update video. This is, I want to say 32 count antique blue. Just a linen, and it's stitched with Gloriana silk, cranberry. And this is just a wood plaque I got at Hobby Lobby. It already had the hanger thingy, painted it, and it has some cording there. So again, this kind of pattern lends itself to a very simple finish, and I like it. So there's another one. And then this one, the Hobbit movie characters. I got this from an Etsy shop called Amazing Cross Stitch. And I'll try and put links for all the people I mentioned and like this particular store and that type of thing below. If I forget, just gently remind me. This is not glass. This is safety glass or acrylic. Hobby Lobby, where I got the frame, had this safety acrylic glass cut in standard size frame measurements. This frame is an 11 by 14. So I got an 11 by 14 because it hangs in my boy's bedroom. Yeah, safety glass. And again, the Hobbit movie characters, all DMC. It's on 18 count. It's Charles Craft Ada. I think it might be beige. But it was a nice pattern to stitch. I would stitch like one character each night. And the characters, we have Bombur, Dory, Bilbo, Gandalf, Thorin, Nori, Dwalin, Balin, Ori, Bifur, Killy, Philly, Oin, Bofur, and Gloin. So this hangs in my boy's bedroom now. And this frame is so perfect for it. It's like I wouldn't say it was, well, it could be wood, but it has like a wood grain kind of texture to it. So I got the frame at Hobby Lobby. I don't remember if the frame came with glass, and that's why we got the safety glass, or if it just was one of their open stock ones. I don't remember. But that one is now hanging in the room. It is done. Okay, this one. This is Mini Twist number 2. This was a collaboration between Northern Expressions Needlework and Stitchy Box. And so this is stretched on a foam core, and then I covered some mat board with fabric. And this is a little acrylic stand that I got at Stitchville, so I made sure to not glue there. Of course, I had a stand and I can't find the first one, so I had to go buy another one. So I'll find the other one, and I'm sure I could use it for another piece. This is the Rhodes and Rice stitch one. If you've watched Atomic Stitches, she has stitched all 6 of these. So the fabric is Violet Mist. I think it's 32 count. But the directions for the Northern Expressions needlework, it's very, very clear. Doesn't necessarily mean easy, but the directions and the diagrams are very clear. And Nikki of Northern Expressions, Liz of Stitchy Box, they were so willing. When I showed this progress in one of the groups, they both contacted me and said that they were willing, if I had any issues, willing to help. So now it sits up really nice, like that on the shelf. So another idea to how you can how you can display, because I can pull this out and I can store it flat, and then just when I want to display it, display it. So there's another idea. Throwing that out there. And again, can you tell the Vanna cording thing? Yes, I got my little fishing thingy, and the kids liked helping me make the cording. Morning Glory. This is 32 count linen. It's called Marble. The frame I got at Hobby Lobby, and it's perfect for this piece. It's kind of an antique finish on it, and it pulls these big beads. They have kind of an antique finish on them too. So yeah, this is perfect for this piece. Sorry the lighting is so bad. It's kind of hard in my house to get good lighting, but you could see some of the bling in her hair and around the collar. Yep, so she's on my wall now. Woohoo! This is a Lizzie Kate, Joy to the World. I've already passed the pattern on. And I got this. Now this pattern came with the fabric. This fabric was so stiff. I was so scared of getting a paper cut. It was that stiff. Oy, it was not a pleasant thing to stitch on. But I used all the called for threads. And then this plaque I got at Hobby Lobby, and I painted it bright red. And then I don't know if you can tell, but this is a red sparkly feather, and this is a gold one. And then I got this curly Q gold thingy and these berries in the Christmas area of Hobby Lobby, and then these bells. And yes, this hangs up there, so I don't have to hear that all day. I was joking with my husband. I said, man, I hope I glued that well, because this one I put the tacky glue down, and then I put the hot glue down, and I held it. I said, I hope that I glued that really well so we don't hear the Christmas bells on Christmas morning. Yeah, that would not be pleasant, but it's done and it looks good. So yeah, I can go a little Priscilla-like. I can't remember the verb we're using. Okay, this one I just finished tonight, so I hope it's dry. It's dry enough for me to hold up. It's a Lizzie Kate. Cleaning the house while children are still growing is like shoveling snow when it's still snowing. And I got this idea the other night. I said, oh, I wonder if I could find some miniature brooms and a shovel and an ice scraper. Minnesota people, I am familiar with the tools. So yeah, I just glued those, and yeah, somebody's gonna be freaked out. I actually glued on the fabric. This fabric is nothing special, so I'm not worried about it. Pattern was cute to stitch, and I just watched Dee's video, and she's gonna stitch this one sometime in 2018. So let me put that back down. Again, it's on a canvas. Just make sure, give the glue a chance to really, really dry. So I showed you my smallest finish. I'm going to show you my largest one. This was an open stock frame at Hobby Lobby. Lady of the Mist. Woohoo! I finished stitching her in 2009. So she was sitting there waiting to be fully finished. And this is where Trixie's, Janet's lacing video, if I didn't do that, I don't think I could have gotten these borders straight. They're not perfect, but they are a lot straighter than I would have gotten them otherwise. So what I did is there's a lot of lacing on this one because it's so big, but I went up 4 stitches and laced 4 stitches, the same column, And I'm glad I did it that way on this particular piece because it helped keep everything nice and even. And I'm going to go in here so you can see her bling. Hopefully you can see her bling because she's so blingy. Yeah, in her hair. The flowers don't have bling in them, but they are very detailed. And then she has her buttons down her gloves. And her skirt. Oh, you're not, oh, there you can kind of see it. And the ribbons. A lot of the purple swirls are beads. I think she's the biggest piece. Just thinking about this. She's probably the biggest piece I've stitched and finished. Not fully finished, but I mean, because I've had others close to this size, but I think she's big, and I'm working on Persephone, so I think they're gonna be close. But Lady of the Mist, and Becky, I think you pulled this one, showed this one in one of your videos, and I was like, oh, I know that piece. And this is where the dye lot issue came in. One of the colors in here is 504, and so I had like this section all done in 504, and I ran out, so I got a new skein of 504 about the time DMC changed the color. And so it was very, very different. And I was like, no. So what I did is, essentially there's 5 greens in there now, so I just left what I had there that was a separate section, and then just used the new stuff in the new section. So you can't really tell, but oh man, I was panicking because I thought, no way. But she is done. And it's like this frame was made for her. I bought the frame for a different piece, and I came home and I laid the piece on my bed, laid the frame on it. There was no glass in it. It was the open stock frame. And it was just too big. So I thought, oh no, I don't want to take this back. So then I laid Psalm 23. Psalm 23 is, well, yeah, Psalm 23 is bigger than this piece, so I guess this isn't the biggest piece. It's the biggest one I've FFO'd. We'll just say that. That's true. But that one is bigger. It's longer. So then I thought, oh, I wonder about Lady of the Mist, and I laid her on there, and it was like this frame was made for her. It's a 16 by 20 frame, so it's a standard size frame. But yeah. It's nice. It works. Yay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. I'm missing one. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nope. If you were wondering how many that is, that's 13. I did 13 FFOs in 1 month. So I no longer have 42. I have 29. And I do have materials to finish 5 more, I think. But I just kind of burned myself out, and I'm like, oh, I want to stitch. I want to stitch. So I said, fine. I'm just going to put that aside. I've got the materials, so when it's time, I can get everything out and fully finish them. So, yay. My phone's going to skip here. So, maybe it already did. I don't know. If it did, then hopefully I can edit. In my last video, I didn't mean to have 3 parts. I was trying some different editing thing, and